君の写真手に入れたまるや君の元へグラスの Robert here. Phungtime is back. Mike is eating, and he also, not the biggest fan of what we're going to talk about tonight. Stranger Than Heaven. We saw the Xbox big thing earlier today. P-Time, you said you saw some of it, right? You haven't watched all of it yet?
I was able to catch some of it, yeah. Okay. I think kind of just the main highlights of it, but it looked great. It looked stunning. So
yeah, this game looks so cool, and I was already excited for it before this, and yeah, this just made me even more excited. We had a little breakout a few weeks ago where we talked about Stranger Than Heaven. It was after the first Xbox thing, last month or so, where I was just kind of rambling with Mike and Golden Spider about whether or not it was going to be like an actual Yakuza prequel. That was kind of one of my theories, and now after watching this, I'm like, I feel like we might actually have confirmed that it's some sort of sequel to the Yakuza series, because we see Kamurocho, we see Sotenbori, but like past versions, know? And then
literally at the beginning of the trailer, like talking about the Tojo clan, we're
exactly.
Like, yep, okay.
Yeah. So we're going to kind of have this playing as we talk, so there may or may not be sound on it. Yeah, this is about 30 minutes, so we'll just we'll be talking kind of during this and about what we're seeing on screen here. Yeah, the first thing, the Tojo clan. That's the name.
Tojo kai.
So.
じゃあいよいよ兄貴組立ち上げるんじゃの。
やっちゃろうや。兄貴なら絶対にてっぺん取れますけ。あ
りがとな。
This is.
けど、そういうんじゃねえんだ。
は？
俺たちみてえなヤクザもん、帰る場所のない連中が生きていける、そんな場所があったらいいって思わねえか。ねえだろ、そんなの。
Okay, gonna turn it down just a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
だから作るんだよ。俺たち自身で。
Oh, and this song is fucking great, by the way.
Oh. I did hear like the song that like I was like, man, the music for this is gonna be so. If it's all like the trailer, it's gonna be so hype.
Oh yeah,
just the vibe of it.
And apparently you're making music, and Snoop Dogg's in this game, because why wouldn't he be? But yeah, so this is kind of our big breakdown of Stranger Than Heaven, the new game from RGG Studio. Going over 5 eras, 5 different cities. And a bit of racism there. Yeah, 1915 Kokura. 1923 is the next one? 1929. 29. Okay. So is that... So we've got, the shot of all of this. So is this 1929 or is this 1915? Okay, that's 1915. So then is this 1929 here? We think it like this is kind of that, and then it's like, hey, it's 1929, and now the next one. Now this one is the next.
The next era, yeah.
The next era, yeah. So we've got all the like the neon lights and everything. 1943 Osaka, and now even further in the future. Atami.
51. And there's one more.
And then this last one is 65 in Kamurocho. And then we've got this kind of this shot of like a Yakuza, ceremony. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. And the only reason I ask is because here we've got the neon signs. Okay. So what do we say this was? 1943? Mm-hmm. Just going back to the very beginning, this seems like it's taking place in 1943 then.
Right, because he's got the long hair, the cool jacket that I'm not putting my arms through.
Yeah, we've got the neon signs and everything, so it's clearly not the first two. He's got the hat. And so what, like maybe the middle of the game is when you actually see the beginning of the Tojo clan.
Yeah.
And then the next two time periods are you know, it kind of growing into what we'll eventually see in the Yakuza series. You know, just kind of a theory just off of what we're seeing. So, how much of what of this have you seen so far?
I saw the beginning, and then like I just I feel like I saw like a good 60% of it. Like I was just kind of tuning in and out of work, but I definitely did see this part and just like all the star power that they have. You know, in yeah, exactly, Snoop Dogg, and I believe it was Snoop Dogg's son, right? Also, in it, so crazy. Tori Kelly as well, yeah. So yeah, like I feel like I was able to see like a fair amount of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did not see that. Okay, there we go. All right. So we've got the outlines of the beginning of the Yakuza, and as we see more in this trailer, it's almost like they're bringing up like some of these like the side missions that we've seen in some of the older Yakuza games. They're just saying, hey, that's half of this fucking game now. And I'm not mad at it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think it's refreshing that they do that. I mean, I remember when we were last talking about just kind of like RGG in general, it's just that you know, we were talking about how, you know, they tried to keep things like fresh with different protagonists and all this stuff, but that they just keep kind of falling back to Kiryu, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like what a way to kind of have to force yourself to not rely on him by literally going back in time before he was even born, right? Like you can't slip him in here like or anything for this like cameo or anything. This is just gonna be its own like standalone story, and how refreshing that is. And I think it seems to have really freed them up to really experiment and try and focus on different things.
Yeah, and it's I mean, RGG Studio, we talked about this in our previous episode. Like RGG is I can't pronounce it properly, but it's essentially the name of the games, and that's the studio. It's like a Halo studio making Halo. So if you know the fact that this, or not the fact, but the idea that this could be an actual prequel to the main Yakuza series is not out of the realm of possibility. Because what have we had so far? We've had all the Yakuza games, Like a Dragon. You've had Judgment, Lost Judgment, which are both in that same universe. You know, some of those characters even like show up in later Yakuza games. So the fact, like, I know like what you mean, where it's hey, we need to get out of this rut of just going back to Kiryu. You know, let's do something where we can't use him, or I say you can't use him, but how many? There's 2 games now where we're in the 1800s and we're playing as him, pretty much. But
sure, yeah.
you know, but it's like we're telling a brand new story in this universe, but at most you're gonna see a couple of like name references, like, you know, the Tojo clan, maybe some other like family names or something. But this is pretty much just going to be a completely standalone story, and the combat that we're seeing is the combat that we're seeing is more of the action-oriented stuff from the Yakuza series, as opposed to Like a Dragon's, you know, turn-based with its own twist as well. Which there is a bit that we'll get to here in a bit. This first kind of chunk is all about the beginning of, I guess, the beginning of the story, and really going into Snoop Dogg's character for some reason. Orpheus?
Yeah.
Which might be... I don't mind... honestly don't mind the face of Snoop Dogg and everything being in the game. But like his voice is just Snoop Dogg voice, and it just seems... You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. While I was listening to like this part of the video, just hearing him talk, it just,
what's meant to be
I don't know.
Where it's
I
meant
just
to
had
be.
this realization that
If
like
you want it,
how he raps
can
in
get
his
it for
songs
you.
is just how he talks. So
Yeah.
he's kind of just talking in his songs, like but like his flow and everything is just there as he's just talking about this game.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like you literally just talked over your songs and created like bangers, you know, like what talent? Like it was just kind of this interesting realization listening to him talk about the game.
You and Orpheus. But
Like-
I can't get into too many details, so let me tell
Oh, and then
you.
yeah, his son's here being like, I am in this game too, but let's talk about my dad's character.
For any and all contraband that his underworld connects may require. I'm talking weapons.
So
Also,
yeah,
just like how he got connected into this too. Like I would love to like have seen like been in the room and see just how that like went down with these Japanese people and then just Snoop Dogg like showing up, be like, hey, what is this? Tell me about it, dog.
so the
Play Orpheus.
yes, you do play Orpheus, Snoop Dogg.
Who only has one rule.
That's the
Take
rule
what's
of the
meant to
sea.
be, where it's meant to be.
No, like previous Yakuza games, they've all had pop culture people, like people in famous pop culture. Most notably in my mind is like Yakuza's 5 and 6, and 6 and Kiwami 2 specifically have a bunch of professional wrestlers from New Japan Pro Wrestling in there. In the what is it? The mini games in Kiwami 2 and 6, the clan creator.
Yes.
Yeah, like that whole storyline, all the bosses in there are pro wrestlers from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And they're just kind of like in that one it's a little bit different because they're kind of playing themselves. Like they've got the names, but they're not pro wrestlers. They're just other gang members and stuff. But so them bringing in somebody from the real world in a very notable face like this makes a bit of sense. It being Snoop Dogg makes zero sense. But then once again, like him talking here.
Nowhere left in this world. That's why we heading to Japan.
Take a good look. That right there, that's the Japan you've been dreaming about.
See, Orpheus realized
like it's, and I don't know what else he would do with him, with his voice, other than him being Snoop Dogg.
But how will these kids survive?
If you're gonna get Snoop Dogg, you're bringing in his personality and the voice, right? Like so, yeah. Like I mean there's part of me that wants to believe that there's like a true like story like reason for it like wanting somebody like Snoop Dogg, but
Yeah.
there's also part of my brain that's just like maybe it's kind of like a Kojima thing where it's just like maybe just someone RG's like I really like Snoop Dogg, he wants to be in our game, like I'm just gonna let him be Snoop Dogg.
Yes, it's like definitely it's the Kojima. It's the somebody at the studio's like, Hideo can do that. Let me try something. Hey Snoop, and he's just there because he's everywhere.
Yeah.
Fucking pay him $20, he'll be there. But yeah, even in this trailer, like you see him on the boat. He seems like they call him like a smuggler and everything, and then it shows like our main character Makoto working for him. So I definitely he feels like he's going to be a big part at least of that first era. God, I keep fucking forgetting the 1915.
All the dates, yeah, because it's not like strict 10-year period.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Gups, it's just like different things. Yeah. I mean, while you're getting like the era years, it also makes me think like, yeah, he's probably gonna be in that first game, but it also makes me wonder like if the time that we're in each era may not be like equal, like not like a fifth, like me. I wonder if like maybe that first era is just like might even be just the tutorial, and it's kind of brief, and then you're thrown to the next one. And I wonder if like maybe a majority of the game or the gameplay might be in that middle section with because like as later on you see there's a lot of that music making part of like and showman type of things, and that seems like a big part of it, and seems weird to kind of like have it seem so fleshed out and then not also be like a majority of the part of the game.
Yeah. Yes, we've got Kokura during Fukuoka during 1915. Home. This is actually from. I think this is from their. Maybe like a press release or something. Home of what was said to be one of the world's largest foundries, a smoke-scorched town bursting with the passion of hard-driven, equally fiery workers. And we definitely saw that, on the boat ride there. You see all like the smokestacks and everything. Kure, Hiroshima during 1929, a port town dominated by Japan's largest naval arsenal and heavily influenced by the presence of Yakuza organizations. So there's already Yakuza organizations in 1929. So if we're starting, the Tojo clan, it's kind of in competition with them. You'd have to think.
Right. Yeah. Man. I just think it's so cool that like it's covering like the establishment of the Tojo clan and all these like iconic times, because I feel like the Yakuza games is kind of just like early 2000s on, but I feel like part of what made Yakuza 0 so appealing was that it was like this kind of world and these kind of stories, but in the 80s. And so it's like the fact that I think RGG is doing something fresh, like presenting this, but now in these three time periods, but it feels like we're maybe really focusing on the 30s and the 40s and those the neon of that time versus maybe the neon of the 80s is just I really do feel like they're onto something here. So
yeah, and I mean it's kind of a similar, I guess, kind of to what came out last year, Mafia: The Old Country, where you've got this established story, and now we're kind of taking it way back to the beginning of it. I think they're going to do a much different job, compared to what
I hope so.
What that team did, because that Mafia: The Old Country is a very, very linear game. And that's what some games are doing. Like they're telling you a story that you are playing through, but like it's their story to tell. You're just kind of there to move it along. Whereas this, I'm hoping that it's going to be some sort of linear story. Obviously, we're going to go because they're already telling us, hey, we're going through 5 different eras. Whether or not, I mean, we're going to be going through them one by one, or if you're kind of jumping around, maybe the story starts at the end and we're kind of going, hey, this is, the beginning of my story, and we're kind of jumping back and forth there. It's going to be interesting to see how they accomplish this.
I think so too. Yeah, and like I don't know why the thought didn't even occur to me that they might not even approach the story chronologically. Like I just feel like with how they presented it, like in order, that's what planted that scene in my mind. But they definitely could like jump around, like the Yakuza series is no stranger to long flashbacks as well. So
fucking look at Yakuza 0. That's all that is.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. The third one here, Minami Osaka during 1943, the biggest entertainment district in Western Japan, set against the ever-rising tension of a world at war. That's the other thing about this game, taking place in Japan during the time period. There are some big things that happen in the world.
I wonder what happened there. It's just, who knows?
We're visiting, you visit Hiroshima in 1929, so we're, a few decades removed, but 1943, when did that happen?
I also cannot remember off the top of my head. So.
August 1945. Okay. So 3 of these periods are before that, but Minami, Osaka during 1943, that's during the war. Mm-hmm. Which is what it says, the ever-rising tension of a world at war. And This 1943 seems to be potentially where we see... Or actually, was it 1929? Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know when neon was invented, so I'm not sure when electricity happened. But Osaka...
I think the neon was in the third era, right?
Yeah. So that would be... Oh, here we go. Yeah. 1943 to Minami, Osaka, one of Japan's top entertainment districts. So this is our third era. And this is Sotenbori.
Gosh, those bridges. It's crazy that, like, I still even recognize the bridge.
Yeah, when we watched the first thing, you know, like last month or so, I kept going back to that, like rewinding to it. I was like, I know this bridge. I know this bridge. And like it did like the pan. I'm like, oh, okay, this is Sotenbori. And then at the end of it, it shows a thing that says Sotenbori.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, okay, you got a little shooting range. 1951. 1951, Atami Shizuoka. During 1951, a bustling seaside getaway synonymous with tourism in post-war Japan. Let's go back here real quick.
Man,
is this
the color shading of it? It just so on point. Like all those muted things it has, like the tree in there, like that feels like vintage Japan. Like,
but is this? Oh God, I just played these games. Yakuza 3.
I don't. Is it? Like is like that? I don't.
This almost kind of looks like the downtown street where you first meet. Well, not where you first meet, but where you like go to.
No, because like this is in Shizu. I feel like we need to pull up a map of Japan because looking up like Yakuza 3 was set in like the Riku is set in Okinawa.
Yeah, that's okay.
But this is Shizuoka, which I don't know if. Once again, yeah, don't quiz me on my Japan geography.
Find cheap flights from Okinawa to Shizuoka. 2 hours. Okay,
2 hours.
I don't think they're next to each other.
Doesn't sound that close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not there. Okay. Yeah, I think just this layout of like the stores and then the midway there, the arcade, if you will. And then, Shinjuku, Kamurocho, Tokyo during 1965, Japan's most iconic pleasure district, a city of swirling and unpredictable chaos. And Kamurocho is not a real place. It is based on a real place with a very similar name.
Kabuchiko, right? Is that what it is?
Kamurocho real life. It's based on, Kabukicho.
Okay.
In Shinjuku, so that's real. It's just, the city. Yes. So the fact that... What was that?
No, I was like, Shinjuku is a real place.
Yeah, Shinjuku's real. Yeah, I learned that just now. But, the fact that it is Kamurocho and Sotenbori, like that... That's this world. Like that's the Yakuza world. And the idea that we're kind of, or at least we're being part of the story of what builds us to, Yakuza 0 and Yakuza 1 and everything, and that whole kind of lineage of the Tojo clan and potentially like the Omi Alliance, were they already around? Is that one of the warring Yakuza things that we see before?
That's a good point.
And this thing's kind of...
The list goes on.
What are we thinking about this?
I love the concept of like kind of what they're like getting inspiration from the world, like in essence sampling. I think, but what kind of just like makes it so kind of corny for me is the fact that he's like snapping to everything. I'm like, I get maybe that's how you show, but like that's not how like. You don't just start snapping randomly in the middle, like when you're getting inspired. That's definitely not what I do when when I'm thinking about music. I'm just, you know, like, oh, I gotta get I gotta do it, you know, otherwise I can't remember it. So and that's the only thing that's kind of seems a little cheesy to me, but I love the concept of it for sure.
Yeah.
And do all you can to make them a
So
star.
this
They
this
call
is
that
taking place.
a showman.
So is the entire kind
As a
of
showman, Makoto will decide the structure
storyline
of each show.
him being the showman? Because this now is clearly in like the third era. Okay.
Yeah.
And finally,
But
stage the thing itself.
this conversation
Find a
here
singer with talent, and do
seems to
all
be
you
happening
can
in this
to
first
make
era.
them a star. They
Oh,
call
that's a
that
good point.
A
Yeah.
showman.
Because you
As a
see
showman, Makoto will decide the structure of each show.
where to go. There was a little clip of main character talking to Snoop Dogg.
I guess.
Makoto gives singing a rating with various composers he
Right,
will
because like
encounter.
he
Makoto
starts
can
doing it first,
combine
but then
and
he's like,
arrange these
maybe I
sounds
will
he has
help.
gathered to
The
help
story then
create
it
original
says that the
compositions.
transitions to him, he's gonna actually start help fostering other talents. So
At
Yeah.
first, Makoto gives singing a try for himself.
Oh yeah, so at first
So,
he gives singing a try, and
you
he's
sing
probably
enough?
not that good at it.
Yeah. I guess I do.
Then you might try making some money with it.
So yeah, this is either in.
However, he later
Actually, I
finds
believe
his
this
true
is either
calling
in
as a showman,
the first or second
producing
era,
and managing gigs and performances for
which
other
it could very
artists.
well be the second era. Like
Find
that
a
first one,
singer with
like you said,
talent.
that could essentially be
And do all
our
you can to make them a star.
our tutorial,
They call that
and then the
a
game
showman.
itself really starts
As a showman,
in
Makoto
1929.
will
That's when we
decide
kind
the
of really
structure
start
of
taking
each
control.
show,
just start snapping all over the town.
Yeah,
handle the promotion,
yeah, putting up posters, doing all this stuff.
and
Yeah, this
finally,
seems like I said.
stage
This
the
is
thing itself.
it feels like
More
a
and
side
more money
thing that
with
you'll
each
get
success.
in any Yakuza game, you know.
Element of being a
Specifically, I'm thinking specifically of Yakuza 0 and playing as
info from around town,
Majima,
Makoto can
you know, in
find
his whole
Yeah.
thing with the
musicians to take part in
the club, the cabaret club, and this kind of seems like that, but even more in depth.
Makoto will grow close to
And
Like
like,
where it's-
kind of possibly part of the main narrative.
the
as
main
well.
narrative, you know, which would make kind of make sense because you think about that club, like the Grand in Yakuza 0, and that is owned by the Yakuza. That's owned by the Tojo clan. So this could be like setting that up, like, hey, this is started, you know, dude, like we're trying to find a place for people. It's gonna be kind of a Yakuza thing, but the way that we're gonna make a lot of our money is in this entertainment district. You know, we're going to start this club, and this is going to be the kind of the base really for what creates the Tojo clan. Because we don't have much to go on about the creation of the Tojo clan.
Yeah, not yet. Like before this game, and like I'm curious too because when is like what year is the last era of this game again?
That is 1965.
That's great. So like 1965, and then I was double checking Yakuza 0 set in 1988. So like it's just 20 years between the last era and when Yakuza 0 starts, and like 20 years. That's not. Considering how much we've seen of the Yakuza like series, like that's not that big a gap. So like I feel like that last era could really be setting up a lot of things like that get picked up on in Yakuza 0, like you mentioned the Grand or other things as well. So
Yeah. And hold on. Hold on. Do Takashi first meets protagonist Makoto in a Yakuza group in Kure.
じゃ確かにまたいつでも貸してやるで。
組織内では赤鬼の異名で恐れられ
So Makoto is the first name of the founder of the Tojo clan, Makoto Tojo. And Makoto here, different last name, but that's our main character here. That's the
coincidence.
Well, that's the first chairman, like the founder of it. The acting second chairman of the Tojo clan, who you meet in Yakuza 0 as an old man, Nihara Takashi.
No, oh my gosh, good catch. I didn't even realize. I think you might be onto something.
So we're seeing Takashi. We're not seeing a first name here, at least. The Iwaki family. Let's see if we've got any information on the Iwaki family. I don't believe we do. So they could, yeah, nothing. At least on the Yakuza fandom site. So there might be stuff there.
I think you're very much onto something there.
Yeah, the fact like this, it has to be. This has to be the setup for the Tojo clan and kind of where we the starts of it and how we get to where we're at in 1985, 1988.
Gosh, yeah. Man, that connection he made just gave me chills. Like I was like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. These are the stories that RGG needs to be doing. Like there's so much more like richness in this world, and it's so awesome to see them like fleshing these things out and putting more characterizations and things for these people that have been mentioned before or are part of the history, and now they get to become their own like fully realized characters with their own compelling arcs and everything. So good on you, RGG.
Yeah,
you're figuring it out.
I think that they're. If all of this is what, and that's the thing, even if, hey, we're just using these names and everything, but this has nothing to do with Yakuza. Still, like we're telling a brand, like a story that none of us know, really. And you're, they're doing the thing to make it feel very unique. It's not just, even like just watching the combat and stuff in this video, like it's not just Yakuza, but in the 1900s,
yeah.
Especially the combat. The combat looks kind of much more involved in this.
It's like more what are the terms? It feels like more weighty, like heavier. Like I feel like Yakuza like combat with Kiryu, it's kind of super fast, very light breeze, especially when you start getting to all those crazy styles, right? But the fact that talking about like as like they're about to go into, each button is kind of links to its own side, and then you really feel the swing of each thing. Like I think that's great too. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how it feels.
I was really hoping they'd be like, hey, here's a demo of just something today. But with it coming out in winter, I get we're probably way too early for that.
Winter, yeah.
Winter is coming. By pressing RB or RT, yeah. I think I saw somebody in the kind of funny chat during this refer to it as a marionette system.
Yeah,
but I'm also wondering how much control you'll have over it. You know what I mean? Like if I run in and I hit both triggers at once, am I going to do a flying drop kick? Like, am I going to put both legs up? If I'm just standing and I do that, will I just jump with both legs up and just fall on my ass, Or is it going to, like, stop you from doing something?
I mean, I think, like, when we bring up marriages, because, like, I had the same thought as well. Like, I feel like I think of 2 points on maybe, like, a marionette system spectrum. Like, I think one is, think of, like, straight-up fighting games, right? Where, like, each button is mapped to a limb. I think that's...
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it'll be more on that. Another point on that spectrum is, I think of the OG Assassin's Creed games, where, like, that was also considered a marionette system because, like, everything was kind of like contextual, and like if you're using the hidden blade or like that was mapped on a specific thing, grabbing that was kind of a marionette system as well. So I kind of wonder where the Stranger in Heaven system kind of sits on it, where maybe it is like taking a little bit of the more firmly mapped fighting system stuff, but also maybe mapped with a lot more kind of the contextual stuff like Assassin's Creed.
I'm also wondering how the fights are starting, because all this stuff that we're seeing, like we're in the middle of the fight, you know what I mean, which is great because it's showing off the combat, but is it like, are these just going to be out on the street, or are all of the fights going to be like story related? You know,
that's a good point.
Because if they're, you know, out on the street like we have in other Yakuza games, then it's, are we running into it and we're starting automatically? Is it, you know, more like is it like the older Yakuza games where somebody stops you and then like there's a loading screen that's just them being like, oh, come on, I'll fight you. And then you have control, you know what I mean? Or are you running around, somebody wants to attack you and you just jump right into it? You go from running to combat mode. A lot of questions about it. It seems it seems like it's really fucking weighty though, which I like.
Right, yeah. I wouldn't mind if it transitioned away from that, just the random encounters of people beating up on you, because this, like, I'm sure hopefully there will be like the goofiness of Yakuza in here, but this just seemed like a more like overall serious tone, and like kind of maybe having the fight encounters be more scripted kind of adds to that, versus I'm just wandering around trying to find my sounds or recruit people, and some of these people are trying to like beat me up, you know, type of a thing. So yeah, I think it'd be an interesting transition, but also like, you know, if they're just reusing the assets or that's just kind of the system that they're familiar with, I wouldn't fault them for that, but it'd be cool to see if they moved away from that.
Yeah. And oh man, this game looks sick. Yeah, so what are we see winter. I don't think this is 2026. As much as I hate to say that.
Probably not, but I don't think that's necessarily to its detriment. Like,
oh no.
I right, because I think the bomb of the gaming industry is GTA 6, right? And I think the farther away you are from that, the better. So
yeah, it's not a bad thing if it doesn't come out this year. It just does say winter. Plus, like a lot of RGG games, they seem to have almost like a stranglehold on February.
Yeah.
Like they go fucking nuts with February.
It would be nicer if they did release a little later in the year, because I feel like it would help them stick more in the minds of people during like end of the year game of the year discussions. Like I feel like that's an unfortunate thing, kind of gets lost by the wayside just because it's just so early in the year.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I feel like Clair Obscur last year came out super early.
That's true.
And it just the sheer, you know, like brilliance of that game fucking carried it all the way through the year. So
you think this is going to be their Clair Obscur? Is that are you making a bet on that?
I would hope so. Like I think that if they take everything that they've built up with the Yakuza Like a Dragon series so far, all the things that they've learned, and now we've got the power of the Series X and the PlayStation 5, because that's what this is built for. It's not built for, you know, past gens and stuff. And like they're building it essentially, it seems almost from scratch for this new generation of consoles. This might end up being like their magnum opus, you know, like this might be the thing where like, hey, everything we've learned for the past 20 plus years, everything we've wanted to do but we couldn't do, now we can do it, and we can make it feel better than ever. And we can tell a story that's spanning 50 years playing as like the same character. Like that's you get that sometime. Like you got like a 20 some odd year story in what, Fable 3 or Fable 2, But that's just you go to a tower and then you wake up the next day and it's 20 years later and your dog's dead. And it's sad. No, your dog's not dead, actually. No, your dog shows up, I think. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played Fable 2.
Same.
Yeah. So, last thoughts on this special look at Stranger Than Heaven. What do you got for me?
I loved this presentation. Like, I think it...
I think it was super fucking unique with it being, like, in a club all the time. Like, when they cut back to the people and stuff. Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think it gets me really excited. I think that... I hope that they will follow this presentation up with additional high-quality stuff that will continue to bring the hype from now up until February. Because, there's a lot of games that are coming out between now and then, and this is a great first step, but this is almost, if it does come out in February, that's still what, I can't do math, 9 months away, so like, what are they gonna do like in the 9 months to just like, what else are they gonna show to continue to get me like engaged and stuff? Because I feel like this came out with a part of pretty big like revelations and stuff, so I think that's my big question for this game, like moving forward, like up until release.
Yeah, I think honestly with the timing of this, like it coming out in winter seems kind of weird because you're right. This does seem like it's a really big presentation. Obviously, it's a 30-minute Xbox thing just for this one game. But I feel like this is usually like one of the last things that we see, and then it's cool. This comes out in 2 months. You know what I mean? You get 2 months to kind of go over this big thing, but we get this 30 minutes. Like, what kind of excites me about that too? It's a little weird. I feel like it would be coming out sooner with this being this big, but if they're doing something this big 9 months out, let's just say it's February, how much are they not showing us right now? If they're showing us all of this stuff in here, what are they holding back to show off later, or just not show off and we learn about it in the game? You know what I mean? Like this, it seems like this could very well be like just a massive game, which might be. I mean, I'll probably love it, but yeah, Snoop Dogg. And
I think that's a good point in terms of like the cadence, because as kind of as a comparison, think about like for Xbox, not to stray too far away from Stranger in Heaven, but like since this is an Xbox showcase, Gears of War E-Day, that's something that's supposed to come out this year. Like that's not this winter. They specifically said 2026. The only thing we've seen of it is that trailer, like that initial trailer. I know that we have something. I believe that's something scheduled for Summer Games Fest, right?
Yeah.
For that kind of big thing. But the fact that once again that's supposed to come out sooner than Stranger Than Heaven, but Stranger Than Heaven we already kind of got this big dump, so it's just like, how do those two things compare? Like, how does the math in terms of what each game has to show, and why Xbox is choosing to premiere them like when they are?
Yeah, and SGF, the E-Day thing, they announced a while back now. Like they're doing their June showcase followed by a Gears of War E-Day, essentially just one of these, but for that game.
Right.
And if that's coming out probably this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that came out in like August, even.
Yeah.
We've got in a couple weeks we've got Forza Horizon 6. Sorry.
6.
You've got Fable that's supposed to come out in 2026. So I assume we'll see a release date for that at Summer Game Fest as well. You've got E-Day. So Xbox first party has stuff for the year, and this is an Xbox thing. It's gonna be on Game Pass on day one. They've got a really good working relationship now with RGG, which is great. I wish they would just add the older Yakuza games back to Game Pass. I wish they would have done that a while ago, and then I'll be completely honest. I probably spent like $20 on 5 Yakuza games, so I can't really be mad on Steam with like codes and stuff. But yeah, what are they not showing us? What is there going to be something else like as big as this, like, you know, the Showman thing? Because that seems to be everything kind of keeps going back to that. You know, the first thing you see with Snoop Dogg, it seems like, you know, when you're off the boat and everything, Snoop Dogg's like, "Can you sing?" And that's when you kind of start this thing. You're in Sotenbori, you're running a club. Later on, it just keeps going back to that Showman thing. You've got all the music and everything. So I wonder how big that's going to be part of the story. And
yeah,
I think you're right when you say, like, it's probably going to be. This isn't something that you can just kind of do once and fuck off. Like, this is what you're doing. Is this essentially this, you know, cabaret club, but not cabaret club? You know what I mean? Yeah, and starting
Showman, entertainment promoter. Yeah, because like with that, like I feel like with how RGG promotes its more recent game, like the past games, they kind of show their hand like pretty extensively. Like I can't really think of any major combat mechanic or like major side game that they don't talk about before the games come out. Like I can't really think of one where like, people play and they're like, "Oh wow, like there was this whole thing in there that they haven't talked about beforehand." So like that's why I'm curious, because if they're showing this early, are they gonna like, is the next one gonna show off this other thing, right? And then I remember in there they said the final era in Kamurocho has this like hidden secret. There's gameplay stuff just specific for that one era as well. So yeah, is it every era has its own specific mechanic as well, and they're just gonna kind of slowly start showing that? Others may say spoiling that, you know, like you know, over time, but maybe that's their plan. I am curious to see for sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things that we can hopefully see with this game. They have a lot of things they can do with it, you know, and I'm just saying that now, like, will each era have its own kind of gameplay kind of gimmick? Because clearly they're not going to playing in 1915 and playing in 1965. Not only is your character 50 years, you know, different, but technology is between those two eras, like those 50 years, technology booms and goes fucking crazy in the world. So what are you going to be doing in 1915 that is just going to be completely outdated by the time you get to the third era or anything like that? Like, if they can make each era feel unique but still part of the same game, this game's going to be so good. I'm so excited for this game. P-Time, I want this game now. I want it now so I can request time off work. I also want a big collector's edition that costs way too much money. And I want
get a nice statue of Snoop Dogg that you can put in your room.
Yeah, give me an Orpheus statue. That's what I want. Yeah. Give me an Orpheus statue that doubles as a bong. Actually, that sounds dope. That sounds really cool. If they do that, I want 5%. All right, P-Time, thank you for joining me. Do you have any more final thoughts on Stranger?
No, I mean, I think that's it. I'm excited to see it, and we'll see what comes out of it, and maybe I'll replay an RGG game in the meantime, like while I wait.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna end up buying Kiwami 3. Just
do it.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm just so deep into Mindsight.
Are you though? Are you that deep?
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week for the podcast. See y'all whenever you watch this, every Tuesday night. Storymoders Twitch. We have our podcast. P-Time has been on it before, and he will be on it in the future if he wants to. You know, it's kind of up to him, really.
Would love to.
So, yep.
Would love to.
Hell yeah. Not even, well, probably before Stranger Than Heaven comes out. We got some other games that we could talk about. You know.
That's great.
But yeah, we'll see you later. Bye.